Welcome back, my tasty beer nuts, and we are on 4? No, we've done 3. We're on 4. Fourth beer in our series of drinking with friends. This is Emily. I haven't actually reintroduced you in the other videos, but this is Emily, my friend in Toronto. So we're on to some Kolsch's now. We're again with our friends from Lake of the Woods Brewery up in Kenora, Ontario. This is a lakeside Kolsch. We're going to be doing a comparison between this one, and then we're going to have one from Radical Road after this one. So we're going to start with the non-extra flavored one. The other one, I don't know how I feel about that.
It's delicious.
We'll see. So a Kolsch is one of those great summer beers, super refreshing. It's light, goes down super easy. Usually alcohol is not too high in it. This one's a 5%, so that's a little on the higher side of a Kolsch. Usually it's like between 4 and 5. And these are your sessionable beers on a hot day. The brewer from Orleans Brewing was calling these the lawnmower beer because, like, if you're outside, you're doing work, you cut your lawn, it's hot, you just want to come in and have like a Kolsch and just like down that because it's really refreshing. But actually, before we start that, we're gonna talk about glassware because I couldn't remember properly what it was in our last video. So lagers are the lighter beers in the sense that there's not as much flavor in them as an ale usually would have. So you're going to have glasses that really want to bring up the smell and concentrate it. So kind of you would serve it in something like this. So your tall, narrow glasses in that style, or you would use maybe one of these as well because it will bring and concentrate the smell up a bit. But it's more the fact that it has a stem. Because you serve lagers a little colder than you would an ale. So yeah, and then if you're having an ale, they're usually a lot more powerful in the aroma area. So you bring that back in. You have more of an open mouth on the glass like this one, and it's perfectly fine to hold it from the bottom because it's fine to warm up your ales. So something like that. And then the wheat beer, this is a shock top one that I have that fell into someone's bag, maybe mine, maybe someone else's, I don't know. Actually, it wasn't mine. It was my student at work.
That's what students are good for.
Yeah, that's what I do with my students at work. So a wheat beer are good in these kind of glasses as well. So that's a little lesson of this video on
glassware.
Well, yeah. I had to bring out my little Prud'homme book to remind myself exactly what I was talking about. All right, so now that we've learned our lesson for this episode, we're going to crack into this Kolsch. One that I really do enjoy in this area, and you can get in the LCBO, and I'm not saying this because I love the brewery, is the Orleans Brewing Kolsch. Mm-hmm. It is a really refreshing beer.
Kolsch me outside?
Kolsch me outside.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, that was a good one.
So that was the teenage daughter that named that beer, of course. So now they're debating, do we keep that name, or is it had its time and we need to rename it, or is it just like one of those fun little kitschy things
I think it's catchy. I think they should keep it.
So yeah. So these are always a light in color, not necessarily straw, but I'd say golden color. Usually clear. It should be a nice clear color. You should be able to see through that. That's a perfect example. You got a tight bubbles on the head on that one. Oh, now you're a little too excited on that one. She's gone from no head to all head.
It doesn't like a red
head. So I don't know, some women apparently. Anyways, so clear. This is a perfect example of a Kolsch.
It's dissipating really fast.
Yeah. You can hear the snap crackle pop on there as it dissipates.
Is very clear.
So it's a beautiful, it's a beautiful color. What are we looking at? We're looking at, I'd say, light golden on that one.
Yeah.
I have my chart out here from my Prud'homme, seeing it was in my book. So light golden, or banana, they even say. Almost gold. You know, it's got gold on there. Yeah. So color-wise, scent-wise, that's right on par with a good Kolsch. You get the malts. You get a bit of malts, a bit of It's like I find it like fresh, like summer. It just smells like summer to me, like just
sunlight.
Yeah, there. So yeah, let's give it a shot. Well, it's a little sweeter than I expected.
It is. The malts come out. It is. We're collecting cat hair on the beer.
Yeah, Tinkerbell probably passed through at some point. There's a honey note in this one, I find. I'm getting like a fair amount of honey. Interesting. Let's just look at this one. Oh, they've been around since 2013. There you go. Interesting little tidbit there. So they're 5 years old.
Well, it certainly is light and refreshing.
Yeah. They're naturally carbonated too, which is a fun fact. We'll talk about carbonation in the next video with the Radical Road. Emily will talk all about that. So we got, yeah, it's just the 4 ingredients. So we got the barley, the water, the hops, and yeast. Nothing else in there. Yeah, it's a clean.
That is a lawnmower beer.
Yeah, for sure. So it's redeemed. They've redeemed themselves from the other one. Although you didn't mind it, you didn't really smell the tin as much.
Like I smelled the tin, but I didn't really taste the tin.
Yeah.
And it was, for me, it was more just a disappointment of it not being overly blueberry.
Right.
I wanted blueberry. For me, it was just another fruit beer.
Yeah. Okay. But this is nice. I wouldn't say it's quite as refreshing as Orleans, to be honest, because I think that sweetness, too sweet on a beer when you want something refreshing, I find can kill that a little.
Especially, I'm not a sweet person to start out with. Like, I
You're
prefer
more of a
the salty,
savory,
savory side of things.
But like, it's not a bad beer. Like, if you like something a little sweeter, it's a perfectly well balanced beer.
Yeah.
For me, as a Kolsch, I find it just a tad too sweet. But overall, it's not a bad beer. Now, this one had been sitting out for a bit, so maybe it's a little warmer. But although, maybe if it was like fresh out of the fridge, maybe it wouldn't feel as sweet.
I still think you would get some of the sweetness out of it. Yeah.
But it's well balanced. Like it's a low, obviously. It's only 6 IBUs. A Kolsch should be quite low.
Yeah.
Actually, does it say? I have my book here, so I'm gonna have a look. Right. Thirst quenching Kolsch. So Kolsch falls in obviously thirst quenching, according to this lovely chart here.
Yep.
IBUs actually here they're showing at 12 to 28. So maybe that's why. Maybe the IBUs are so low that sweetness is really present.
Makes sense.
Oh, really? On average, 5% or more for the thirst quenching. So that's right in there.
Temperature.
Yeah, so this one is actually served between 2 and 5 degrees Celsius. So that's fairly cold. So these might be a little warmer than that at this point. So that could be part of it as well.
I'm still getting some sweat on the glass. So.
Yeah, okay. It's not fresh from the fridge. And we put it back in. We still have some out here, but yeah. Trying to see if there's any other mention of Kolsch here, what they say. Entertain people, Emily, while I look at this book. Kolsch, there you go. 4.7 to 5.2%. IBUs generally are 20 to 26 according to this. So this one's a lot lower. Than your average Kolsch. Interesting.
Like, I would say that if you were like a Canadian drinker or one of those not great beer drinkers but wanted to then breach into the craft scene, like this would be a really good bridge from a really smooth, easy drinking beer to the craft world.
Yeah, for sure. Any Kolsch, I think, in general, if you drink the generic beers, I'll call them, Kolsch's are a great way to enter into the craft beer. for sure. Yeah, good point. Yeah, we're clearly enjoying this.
Yeah.
It's a good beer. I just expected a little less sweet, but that's not saying it's not a good beer. Ooh.
Next, we'll go to a flavored Kolsch.
Yeah, from a different brewery that we have not talked about yet.
No.
Yeah.
You haven't done a video for that.
I haven't done, no, because I meant to bring some last time I was in Toronto and didn't bring any home.
You did Godspeed and Little Beasts?
Yeah. We'll talk about their food too. They're freaking amazing.
At Radical?
Yeah. So, great place to stop in Toronto, but we'll talk about that in a couple minutes. We're going to finish this Lakeside Kolsch from our friends at Lake of the Woods. So, thanks again to them. They do have a couple of the LCBOs. I don't know what there is in this general area, in the Ottawa area, but definitely check them out. Help them out. Little Northern Ontario brewery. Yeah. Cheers. That's all I got. Cheers.